Hello and welcome to this Prepare for IELTS Speaking video. In this video I'm going to describe a skill that you can teach other people. Now it was incredibly difficult to choose a skill to talk about in this video because skills that I'm good at, such as cooking, maybe you don't feel comfortable talking about. So I'm afraid I've picked a very boring topic, but I thought it was something that lots of people would feel comfortable talking about. So I'm going to talk about teaching somebody IT skills. Let's take a look at some of the language first, and then I'll read through the model answer at the end. I was struggling to come up with a great way to start your Part 2 answer because you've got complex language and complex grammar. I was finding it difficult to come up with, to think of. Talented or gifted, both of these words mean the same thing, and it's a good way just to get in some more vocabulary. Talented or gifted. To pass on to, if you pass something on to when we're talking about skills and knowledge, it's about teaching them that skill, giving them that skill or knowledge. I use this word pretty a lot as a native speaker of English, and it's instead of using quite or rather, it's informal, so we only use it in speaking. I'm pretty good at, and we follow it with an ing verb, I'm pretty good at using a computer, and it means I'm quite good at. Computer literate, if you're computer literate, you're able to use a computer efficiently. You're good at using a computer. You know how to use a computer. You can also say to be IT literate. I could teach them a thing or two. If you say, I could teach someone a thing or two, it means you're good at it. You're actually saying that you know a lot about something, even though it sounds like you don't know very much. It only sounds like you know a thing or two. But we use this idiomatic expression to mean, I am good at this. I could teach them a thing or two. I suppose, I guess, I reckon, instead of saying I think. I'm not entirely sure when. I don't know. It doesn't ask you to say when, but I've included this to include some more complex language. A gradual process. If something is a gradual process, it means it happens in small stages over a longer period of time, so you don't just learn it in a day. It's happened over many months or many years. A gradual process. I've picked up. To pick up means to learn. I've had no formal training. Formal training means you've been on a training course and got a qualification. Good opportunity to use the present perfect continuous. So you started it in the past and you continue in the present. I've been using one. The best part of a decade is 10 years. When we say the best part of a decade, it means most of a decade. I kind of know what I'm doing. We use this a lot in English in the UK, and it means to some extent, I know what I'm doing. It's not saying I'm brilliant at it, I kind of know what I'm doing. We use it with things like, I kind of like rock music. It means you like it a little bit to some extent. Don't get me wrong, a useful discourse marker when you want somebody to not misunderstand you. I'm not saying I'm an expert. A person who knows everything about something and is very skilled and qualified to do this job. I'm saying, don't get me wrong, I'm no expert, don't misunderstand me. The basics, whatever it is you're talking about, if it's cooking, if it's painting, if it's IT, the basics, the most simple things. In order to introduce another bullet point, you can use in order to. So in order to share my skills and knowledge. It's a good collocation. We talk about sharing skills and knowledge. I would feel most comfortable, to feel relaxed. Face to face, so in person. To guide someone, if you guide them, you're showing them what to do. And if you're doing it remotely, you're doing it in a different place. So you're doing it probably over Zoom, for example. Always try to get some past continuous in there. So whenever you're talking about times, I did this kind of thing a few times when I was studying at university and we were working on group projects. IELTS examiners like continuous tenses because native speakers use them all the time, but often many non-native speakers don't use them because they're often things that you don't use in your own language. When I was studying, we were working. Classmates, so people in your class, weren't confident, they didn't feel comfortable with, weren't good at using PowerPoint. I went through, if you go through something, you explain. I'm going through this model answer at the moment. I'm explaining it from time to time, occasionally, now and again. Mind you, great for speaking, but don't use it in writing. But, however, it's not in my job description. Your job description is a list of your duties and responsibilities. So I'm not employed to do this, but it's something I do from time to time. An essential skill, a vital skill. Remember to use words other than important. Essential, vital, key, imperative. All of these words can be used instead of important. To rely on, to depend on. Properly trained, so you've had some training, you've been taught by an expert, you've been on a training course. PCs and software are updated, made more modern or up to date. If you don't keep your skills up to date, so if you don't have the latest information, your skills are not current, up to date, and they become outdated, so they're no longer useful or modern. So I've got 3 words here from the same word family: updated, up to date, outdated. IELTS examiners love it if you can use words from the same word family. Like I said, so I've already said this before, but I'm saying it in a slightly different way. I'm not a trained or expert PC user. Trained, so you've had some formal training or you have a qualification. An expert, so somebody who knows a lot about something. A PC user, so a person who uses a computer. But I'm a patient. If you're patient, you're very calm, you're easygoing, you don't get angry easily. A key characteristic, a very useful collocation and can be used in writing as well. An important thing, a key characteristic. And like I said before, I use the word pretty a lot instead of using quite. I can do it pretty well. I can do it quite well. It just sounds more natural. It makes you sound more like a native speaker of English. So now I'll just read through the model answer and hopefully it will help you to remember these words and phrases for this topic. I was struggling to come up with something because I don't think of myself as particularly talented or gifted, so I wasn't sure what skill I could pass on to others. I'm pretty good at using a computer, so if someone wasn't computer literate, I could teach them a thing or two, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure when I first used a PC or how I learned how to use it. It's been a gradual process and it's something I've picked up over many years. I've had no formal training. I've been using one for the best part of a decade now, so I kind of know what I'm doing. Don't get me wrong, I'm no expert, but I could teach someone the basics of Word, PowerPoint, Excel, etc. In order to share my skills and knowledge, I would feel most comfortable doing it face to face because you can see what they are doing and guide them much more easily than doing it remotely. I did this kind of thing a few times when I was studying at university and we were working on group projects. Some of my classmates weren't confident with using PowerPoint, so I went through how to put together a presentation with them before we started. I do it from time to time in my current job. Mind you, it's not in my job description. Using a computer is an essential skill because most jobs rely on them. The problem is most workers haven't been properly trained. PCs and software are updated regularly, and if you don't keep your skills up to date, then they become outdated. Like I said, I'm not a trained or expert PC user, but I'm a patient person, which is a key characteristic to have for teaching anyone anything, so I think I can do it pretty well. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much for watching.